Good day everyone, my name is Chong. Me and my supervisor, Dr. Mimi Fitriana, had completed a research with the title of Factors Contributing to Food Waste Behavior Among the Young Consumer. There are 4 parts under this presentation, which are introductions, literature review, methodology, and research finding. According to the Food and Agriculture Organizations, there are estimated 1.6 tons of primary product equivalents are waste globally. This huge number of food waste is not a healthy sign. Food waste is a global concern which can bring impacts to the environment, economy, and society. For example, in Malaysia, about a quarter of the average income of Malaysians is spent on the food which will later be wasted. Even though the consequences of food waste behavior are indirect and not prompt, we still need to identify the fundamental cause to prevent food waste behavior so that the impact that brought by food waste behavior can be decreased. With that, this research aimed to investigate the factors contributing to food waste behavior among young consumers in Klang Valley. And the predicting factor will be emotion regulation, social pressure, and gender. This study is very important to prove that there is an association between emotion regulations and social pressure with food waste behavior in order for the emotion regulation strategy and social pressure coping skill to be developed. This paper also very important for society to be more aware and concerned about the issue of food waste behavior and try their best to improve the situation. This is because previous research proved that social pressure will influence people in changing their behavior. Therefore, society can understand and know what they can do to help to reduce food waste behavior. Food waste behavior will impose many serious consequences, such as generating greenhouse gases and also wasting natural resources. Understanding the reason that cause food waste behavior will help in reducing food waste behavior. Therefore, this research paper is significant to reduce and prevent the consequences that caused by food waste behavior. There are 4 research objectives in this research paper. The first objective was to identify the differences between the occurrence of food waste behavior among young consumers with low emotion regulations and high emotion regulation in Klang Valley. The second research objective is to investigate the differences between the occurrence of food waste behavior among young consumers with low social pressure and high social pressure. The third research objective is to explore the frequency of food waste behavior between male and female young consumers in Klang Valley. The last research objective is to compare the predicting factors for the occurrence of food waste behavior among the young consumers in Klang Valley. The hypotheses were employed in this current study to find out whether there was significant difference between the young consumers with high emotion regulation and those with low emotion regulations in the occurrence of food waste behavior. Significant difference between the young consumer with high social pressure and those with low social pressure in the occurrence of food waste behavior. Significant difference between the young consumer of male and female in food waste behavior, and also if there were significant comparison of predictors for the occurrence of food waste behavior among the young consumer. Emotion is a powerful drive in triggering human behavior. Previous research proved that emotion plays an important role in certain behavior. Therefore, the emotion regulation skill is important to predict human behavior. Unsurprisingly, previous research proved that emotion will influence food waste behavior. For example, negative emotions help in minimizing food waste, especially the feeling of guilt and shame by wasting food. Therefore, emotion regulation is considered as one of the predicting factors in this research. Many researchers have proved that social pressure plays a role in behavior change programs that expose shaping and influencing particular behavior they seek to change. Previous researchers also proved that social pressure is one of the domains that leads to behavioral change. Even though there are many studies that prove that social pressure is affecting human behavior, but not much research is focusing on the link between social pressure and food waste behavior. Therefore, this research intends to find out the associations between social pressure and food waste behavior. Gender differences on food waste behavior had been mentioned by many previous researchers, where some say gender differences have some influence on food waste behavior, and also some researchers say that there were no differences in food waste behavior for male and female. Therefore, the link between gender differences and food waste behavior will be investigated in this study. The theory that being used is the theory of plant behavior by Argens. This theory explained that the intention will be influenced by the attitude toward the behavior, subjective norm, perceived behavior control, and a particular behavior will be more likely to perform when the intention to engage in the behavior is stronger. This theory was used because recently it was widely used by many researchers to explain and predict the food waste behavior. The attitude, subjective norm, and perceived behavioral control will be replaced by emotional regulation, social pressure, and gentle, which are the predicting factors of this research. The interactions of the components will help to test the hypothesis of this research paper. The research design that used in this research is correlational and causal comparative research design. The sample of this study will be 385 of young consumers that are within the age of 15 to 24 who live in Klang Valley, and the sample was selected by using convenient sampling method. The research instrument of this research is a set of questionnaires that contain 4 sections. Food waste behavior inventory were used in the second session. Emotion regulation skill questionnaire were used in the third session, while the social pressure inventory were used in the fourth session. The questionnaires are distributed to respondents using online distributions. Online questionnaires are done by using Google Forms. Informed consent and briefing are given to the participants before they answer the questionnaire. Researchers' contact details are given to the participants to make sure that they have no concerns. After collecting all the questionnaire, the data is ready to be analyzed by using SPSS software. An independent sample t-test that helps researchers to know is there any statistically significant difference in the mean score for 2 groups who are not dependent on one another is applied for the analysis of hypotheses 1, 2, and 3. While the last hypothesis, multiple regression, were used to analyze because it helped researchers to make predictions for dependent variable from independent variable. Informed consent will be given to the respondent before filling in the questionnaire. The respondents are voluntarily participate in this research and can withdraw anytime. This research will not bring any harm to the respondent. This research is anonymity, which the respondent does not need to reveal their identity. The data that gathered from respondents is confidential. The first hypothesis was rejected. As we can see in this table, there was no significant difference in the score for high and low emotion regulation group. Hence, this result suggests that emotion regulation does not influence food waste behavior among young consumers. The second hypothesis was accepted because the results show that there was a significant difference in the score for high and low social pressure group. The results suggest that social pressure does have an effect on food waste behavior among young consumers. Specifically, our results suggest that people with high social pressure will be more likely to prevent food waste behavior. The third hypothesis was rejected. As you can see in this table, there was no significant difference in the score for male and female young consumers on food waste behavior. And this result suggests that gender does not affect food waste behavior among young consumers. The last hypothesis was accepted. Multiple regression analysis was used to test if the emotion regulations, social pressure, and gender significantly predict the food waste behavior of young consumers. This model is statistically significant to predict the food waste behavior. It was found that social pressure is the most influential and statistically significant predictor in this model, while emotion regulations and gender was least influential predictors. The current research findings suggest that social pressure was correlated to young consumer food waste behavior. The higher social pressure led to food waste behavior reduction, but emotion regulations and gender did not play an important role in the occurrence of young consumer food waste behavior. This study helped in developing a strong guideline, procedures, and successful campaign that is suitable for Malaysians' young consumers, and also allows the society to understand and know that their help is needed to reduce food waste behavior in young consumers. Food waste is a global issue that needs to gain attention in the light as it can bring serious impact to the environment, economy, and society. But because of the impact is not prompt and indirect, people did not bother. With the finding of this research, I hope people will be more aware of the issue and have a better understanding on the occurrence of food waste behavior among the young consumer, and therefore try to prevent and reduce them. That's the end of my presentations. I hope you gain some insight and do ask me if you have any questions. Thank you.